So it looks like, by and large, the youth are receiving your decision with acceptability. So what happens from here? What's next?
What's next is to prove your mettle. I mean, in my shoes, I don't need permission to work for the party. So my take on going forward is to ask, what can I do to support? And I'm happy, if you're in politics and they praise you all the time, beware. You need to have these, odd ends criticism. So you sit up. Naturally, not everybody's going to be happy because, they've been there, they're cushioning, they're comfortable. But I will create space for myself within the team because I'm here to work to ensure that we get the breaking.
You've shown a lot of commitment. I mean, recently people were talking about Asin North and citizenship. Yes. You did give up an American citizenship?
Yes, I did.
So that you can qualify to run for parliament?
Yes, I did.
Which year was this?
This was May 2008, and I was a U.S. citizen for quite a while. And
you said you don't want to be Barack Obama anymore?
Yes.
So now when you're going to America, what do? You take visa?
I take a visa, yes.
In your Ghanaian passport?
Yes, and that's the ultimate sacrifice. So, when your troop leader
Have you regretted it, by the way?
No, not in
Are you
any
very
day.
honest? Very, very
110%. And I read a book before I took that decision, General Patton, as an American hero, the war general who burns the bridge and goes with the troops, so you can't go back. So I made up my mind. Paul, this is an interesting discussion. I know you don't have too much time. In Zima, as an area, is not an MPP zone. So when I came from the US with this whole naivety,
Zima is very difficult.
Very difficult. It's Kwame Nkrumah's stronghold.
For the CPP.
For the CPP.
Always has been.
Has been. And when the CPP...
I don't think the UP has won there up to 2008.
I'm the first person.
So from 51
to 51 to 2008.
It's the first time the UP tradition won in Zima.
Entered the foray. So you can tell the tenacity that I have. So,
But unfortunately for you, the year you won in Zima is the year the
MPP lost the power. Exactly.
So you
and I survived
as opposition.
As an opposition member.
Did you win in 2012?
No, I lost. And then I won in 2016.
And that's when you became Minister of Tourism.
Then I became the tourism minister. So then Zima dynamics is not for the faint-hearted. Again, you have to go in with dynamism, acumen, and a certain bit of a higher interpersonal skills. People there don't like the New Patriotic Party, not for any other reason. We have to respect the history. You are from Nkrumah zone. So it took time. We used to do what they call skirt and blouse. You vote Kufuor and you vote Akoko. So that was the era of Freddie Blake, Kojo Ama, Indum. So they were doing these things where the CPP was strong.
Was supported because the people didn't feel confident
fielding a candidate. Thank you. So imagine this young skinny girl comes from the USA and I'm trying to convince Adom-Otchere, McMenu that, look, I can do this. And they told me to my face, no, we don't want to experiment with you.
We'll keep Kojo Ama.
Yes.
Because that's what the MPP
That is what was safe. So I go on the ground and I get people. My age mates, remember, I've been out of the country for 24 years. Wow. So I meet people that I grew up with, my class 2 mates, middle school, secondary school. I went in science secondary school just next door. And we formed Axim Home Club because you couldn't just up and do MPP. It was difficult. So we did the home club. We're cleaning. We're doing hospital cleaning and doing a lot of surgery, going around and talking to the youth that I was born after Nkrumah's overthrow. I don't know the dude. So those of you who are young like us, let's shift to Kufuor. And it is not good for an elephant to birth a chicken. So, the visuals were very good. That was my message. I've never seen an elephant birthing a chicken. So why don't we have an elephant baby and an elephant father? See, that's a simple message that got me through.
In 2008?
In 2008.
No, to win 2008 election is very complicated.
It was tough.
Because it's an election that Mills was running.
Exactly.
Now, Mills it doesn't get more ideological Nkrumahist than Mills.
He was an Nkrumahist.
He personifies Nkrumahist.
And he grew up in Takwa. So he was a CPP.
That was a very difficult election. How
did you
manage that?
I used my personality, and the magic is what I gave you. The visuals was to let people know that we don't need to marry a chicken when an elephant can birth an elephant baby. So, I incurred the wrath of a lot of the old goons in CPP.
But Mills was also running with Nkrumah's minister's son, John Mahama.
Yes.
And that was an impossible election to win in Axim.
Thank you. And you know the dynamics. So, and I won. So this is the person who is telling you.
I'm sure Mills won the presidential.
He won.
Of course.
The dynamics, and if you get the statistics, NPP has never won the presidential in to date.
Wow.
The data is there.
And you have won the seat twice.
Twice. So if I tell you I'm doing the third round. People down there do not doubt me. They know I have what it takes because you need that kind of tenacity. You get insulted, which is normal. And then you get the doubt. And if you're not strong mentally, you'll crack.
Just for the young men who are watching.
You will crack.
Just for the young men who are watching. How do you deal with this ashawo business when they call you ashawo?
Well, the good
I'm
thing
sorry
is...
to ask.
No, it's
I want
part
a
of
young woman
the hazards of the job.
How do you deal with it?
I'm married. I have 3 beautiful sons. And I have a husband who tolerates this kind of behavior. But as a woman, you also have to be a bit religious. You know, I don't want to bring in religion, but you have to pray to God a lot because it shakes your confidence.
Is it more difficult for women than men?
It is difficult for women in political space than men, and we can't sugarcoat this. It's a fact.
For a rural parliamentary seat, is it more difficult for women than men?
Twice as difficult. You have people who mean well who will come to you and say, stop, because they're going to denigrate you. They're going to call you names. And you know, you have to be loving to be a leader to go into that space. And for me, this is what I want to do. So a young girl out there in Axim, in Jurabanso, in Kutukrum will also have that feel that I can do better, even better.
Fatih, I put you on the spot. What's your personal question for Catherine AFEKU? You're a young woman. You don't want to be a politician, but you've been observing these things. What's the question for you? Does he have a microphone? Are you not going to get it?
Yeah.
Okay, so ask her the question.
All right, so
It doesn't have to be about politics.
Yeah, but honestly, I've also been getting questions like these, you know, working on TV and all that. People will be asking you, don't you think people at the studio, are they disturbing and all that? And sometimes it becomes
disturbing you like how?
Harassment.
Yeah.
Harassment.
Yeah, exactly.
In this studio.
Exactly, and I'll tell them no, nobody at all. They don't believe me at all.
Hey, Mikael. What have you been asking them that...
Honestly, they don't...
Okay, but do ask your question.
Yeah. And my question is, because at times it becomes a little bit traumatizing, you know, when people see you as, sorry to say, a sex object, because that's how mostly they identify women. How do you deal with all those negative comments?
Intelligence, my darling, intelligence. Your acumen, how you carry yourself, and your level of confidence will shut that down. You know, we are in an environment, I grew up in the West predominantly. Harassment is where somebody compliments you. You know, if you're strong enough and a gentleman tells you, oh, your makeup looks nice, he's not after you sexually. When you're confident in yourself, you learn to say no. But I grew up in an environment where it's male-dominated, and I was trained. My father always said, you can do the exact same thing brothers are doing or a male can do. So it's a training, and you also need to be grounded religiously. I grew up Catholic. I've been through the charismatic, but you have to meditate a lot. So you have to believe in yourself and a higher power. Otherwise, you always be brought down. You are not worth it. You don't deserve it. You are just a girl. And it happens, well, even in Parliament. Even in Parliament, you get these denigrating comments, but you have to be strong. Otherwise, you lose focus. I'm in the game to win.
Is there a message you want to read? You have a question? Okay, Antoinette, final question then.
Hi, Antoinette.
Hi. I heard you say you stayed in the States for 20 years.
Not only the U.S. I was a diaspora for 24 years.
24 years.
I grew up in Nairobi, Kenya. I started work in Italy. I had my first child in Italy. I went to school in Switzerland, and I did 10 and a half years in the U.S. So all total, when I got back to Ghana, it was 24 years total. So I've lived across continents and back home.
Okay, so it means you have the socialization from the outside world, because I've met like people from the diaspora and people from outside Ghana, the western side, and you see the confidence you're talking about, it comes very easy to them. I don't know, maybe because of their socialization or all of that, but I want to know, did it come easy for you, or I would say easier for you because of that orientation you had from the diaspora for 24 years? Because here, let's say a young child attended like DBC primary basic school, something, you know, we don't have that culture of females actually being that confident. So you meet someone from the US or something, you meet them, they speak with a little bit more confidence than we, you know, the locally bred ones. So did it come to you more naturally because of that exposure you had? Or is something that's innate or something like that?
I would say not necessarily. I grew up here. Remember, I left when I was 16. So my primary education was here. My secondary school was here. So I would think also the upbringing in Ghana brought that. But there's an innate character. I was actually an extrovert, an outgoing child. So that builds up. Yes, overseas, added a bit of it, but I wouldn't discount my training that I got in Ghana. I was part of the debate club at Inside Secondary School. I was mock parliament, and I was an extrovert. I only hung out with the guys. So what guys were doing, I was doing the same. So I would say my socialization was from here. But yes, the extensive travel added to it. But what I got from Ghana built the foundation.
Okay, let me move it around. Michael has a question, but before then, Catherine, Rosemary says to tell you this. Excellent delivery, my sister. We are proud of you. Ghanaian women are proud of you. In Zimaland, Fusse Ayiku. That's what she says. And she says, we need this lady in parliament. Okay, another one comes and says that...
Thank you, sis.
Honorable Catherine AFEKU inspires both young and old in our party. Hope to see her back in the next parliament. Is from Goodfellow. And then Master Planner Junior from Kintampo says, congratulations, Catherine. It says, Madam Catherine AFEKU was a government spokesperson on infrastructure under the S. Walker administration. I remember that. Good Morning Ghana benefited from that. And does she think it's prudent for government to reintroduce it? Okay, that's another conversation, and it's coming from Ibrahim Cooper. So many of the MPP people are sending me texts. How do I know? I see a lot of them. I don't know their name, but a lot of them have on the WhatsApp. Their profile is Dr. Baomia, so I know where they are coming from. Okay, Master Planner Junior says that Madam Catherine is a fine communicator. She talks with passion. She would really, really help Baomia's campaign. Akwa Bamama Tsanasiye is what he says. Okay, Michael.
Right. So you indicated that you wanted to come and then not just return to Ghana, but serve as a member of parliament. I don't know if when you went abroad, Ghana was in your rearview mirror. Because typically when people go there, like, I'm done with this place. I don't want to come back. So I want to know, what did you see while you were abroad that made you want to come back and serve?
That's 2 minutes. It triggered by a visit of the late Jake Obechebi Lamte and Madam Oboshi Saikofi. They had come to Atlanta. Ghanaian ministers, I didn't even know what a minister was at that time. In the US, a minister was a man of God. So they had come to Atlanta to the MLK Center, Martin Luther King Center, to meet Ghanaians in the diaspora. And I was the one who hosted them doing the MC. And it was at that juncture that Madam Oboshi said, we need you in Ghana. I'm like, for what? So that's how it started. The conversation went on. I was interviewed overseas, and I was given the job as a spokesperson. So when she was the Deputy Information Minister, she was calling. So the return started way back. She was calling people home. So you always need somebody to push you. And I've always given her the credit because I would have stayed. I was an American citizen. I was doing well. I had a corporate job. But that was the trigger. She called and said, come and help your government. And that's how it started. So you always need somebody